Good evening and welcome to our candidate forum. Thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Lori Higgins and I'm the moderator for this evening's forum as well as the president of the Metro North Chamber of Commerce. Our goal in tonight's candidate forum is to provide residents with an opportunity to learn more about the candidates and their positions on various issues. I'd like to note, as a resident of Blaine, I cannot vote for any of these candidates. We will ask 4 prepared questions. Responses will be in rotating order. There will be a short period of time at the conclusion for audience questions. Please use this time to write your question and submit to city personnel. I am pleased to introduce the candidates for Ramsey Mayor, Ryan Heineman and Mark Kuzma. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Each candidate will now have 2 minutes for an introduction, and then we will get started with the questions. Mr. Heineman, you have 2 minutes for an introduction.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody watching online and everybody who's attending. As somebody who was on the city council in the past, I feel like I've seen a lot of faces here before, so thanks for coming back out and just getting to know the candidates a little bit. My name is Ryan Heineman. I'm running for mayor for the city of Ramsey. And just a little bit about myself. I moved to Ramsey when I was 2 years old, so very young, and grew up here. I still remember driving to the old city hall across Bunker, and this was just a field. So it's definitely grown a lot since I was 2 years old, but been invested in this community ever since then. Played football at Central Park. I went to Pack Charter School, which moved to Ramsey. So I'm very familiar with the city, and I love it. Part of the reason why I'm running is just it's a city I want to give back to that I've invested into. At 17, I joined the military. I was a military police for 8 years, switched to military intelligence, and currently I got about 6 months left of my contract, and then I'll be done, where I serve as psychological operations. When I ran for city council, I won back in 2021. I was served a partial term. During that time, it was a term where I stepped in for somebody who stepped down. And during that time, I was on the Parks and Rec committee. Before that, I was actually on the Economic Development Authority board. And then after returning, well, actually, cut back real quick, my last 5 months of my term, I got deployed overseas. So I went to the Middle East. I finished my term via Zoom, a lot of late nights, about 2 o'clock in the morning, working for the city of Ramsey. After returning, I got back on the planning commission, and now I'm running for mayor. So 5 wonderful kids. I'm the chair of Pack Charter School and married for 16 years. Love the city and very excited to serve everybody here.
Thank you. Mr. Kuzma, you have 2 minutes for an introduction.
All right, thank you. Well, I'd also like to thank everybody here. I'd like to thank the city of Ramsey and North Metro Mayor Association for putting this on. I think it helps to get to know the candidates and our viewpoints. I'm running for re-election as mayor of Ramsey. And over the past 12 years, I've had the privilege of serving our community for 4 years as mayor and 8 years as the Ward 2 councilman. This experience has given me a deep understanding of the needs and the priorities of our city. In addition to my public service, I've been married to my wife, Wendy, who's here tonight, for 50 years, and together we have 2 daughters, 1 son, and 5 grandchildren. I also have a daughter here tonight, so. I also had my own business for 42 years with Flair Print Communications, and I sold the business back in 2020, and I worked for the company that bought us for 2 years, and I retired in 2022. And beyond that, I've been remained actively involved in various community leadership roles. I've lived in our community for 27 years, and I love our community, and like to have the opportunity to continue to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go to our prepared questions. There is a 2-minute time limit for each answer. We'll begin with Mr. Heineman. Why are you running for mayor, and what skills and talents would you bring to the office?
Well, thank you for the question. I'm running for mayor because, as I said before, I grew up in Ramsey. I love the community, and I kind of talked about my military service, joining the military when I was 17. I actually joined 2 days after I turned 17. I would have joined on the 17th birthday, but it was a Saturday, so I couldn't. But you know, my whole life, I was taught a simple lesson, which is to be of service to other people, and I've taken that challenge seriously. since I was very young. Like I said, military when I was 17. I was in the Boy Scouts. I've led small groups at church, and I've coached soccer teams. And when I moved back to Ramsey back in 2019, that service mentality was still there, and that's when I decided to to go out for the EDA. So the reason I want to serve Ramsey is because I feel like we need a strategic vision here at Ramsey. We've done a lot of things really well for a really long time, but we need some new ideas, some ideas that are going to generate businesses. It's going to bring people into the city, and it's going to bring an environment where families can move and there's things for them to do. So I would love to serve in that capacity, and some of the skill sets that got me here. My entire life, it's leadership, whether it was becoming a corporal at the age of 18 and having a squad of 12 people, whether it was running Hennepin County security during the Super Bowl with 120 employees under me, with 7,000 man hours per week running that schedule, or whether it's my current job, which is an ed tech startup company where I was the second employee, and now we're over 200 employees in 5 different locations around the U.S. So my entire life has been service, leadership, and strategic vision casting, and that's what I want to bring to Ramsey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll repeat each question. Mr. Kuzma, why are you running for mayor, and what skills and talents would you bring to the office?
Well, first of all, I got to tell you, I feel I'm the best candidate for the job. I've been on council now for 12 years. I put the time and the work into it, and I think experience counts. In addition, as I mentioned, I was in business for 42 years. I've made payroll. I've dealt with employee issues. I know how to hold employees. I know how to treat people well. I know how to work business deals. Recently I've been involved in our union negotiations with the city, and I just feel that, again, my experience has a lot to do with that. In addition, I've been the chair of the Public Works Committee. I was council liaison to the Economic Development Authority. I'm a commissioner for the Lower Rum Watershed District for over 7 years. I was liaison to the Anoka Joint Law Enforcement Council and a member on its Finance Committee. I'm a past president of the Ramsey Community Foundation, where I helped initiate Music at the Draw. I'm an executive board member on the Printing Industries of Minnesota for 13 years in the Trade Association, and I concluded my term as the chairman. I'm the past president and current Finance Committee board member on the Minnesota 100 Club, and I'm also the past president of the Northeast Kiwanis Club. And I'm honored to earn the endorsement from the Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association, the MPPOA, and also the executive director of the Minnesota State Fire Association. I'm also proud to have the support of Senator Jim Abler of the GOP and State Senator John Hoffman of the DFL, demonstrating the importance of bipartisan collaboration. And with my extensive background, strong relationships, and a proven track record, I'm confident in my ability to continue delivering results for Ramsey. Experience matters, and I'm ready to keep working hard for our community.
Thank you. Moving to question 2, and we'll begin with Mr. Kuzma. What do you believe is the greatest need of the residents of Ramsey, and how would you go about advocating for this need?
Well, our city council is committed to reviewing and amending our strategic plan to ensure that we're meeting and involving the needs of the Ramsey community. We collaborate closely with staff and actively seek input from residents through surveys and town hall meetings, as well as from our local business community. This feedback is invaluable in shaping our decisions and prioritizing key initiatives. Each year, we also update our capital improvement program, the CIP, which outlines future projects and capital equipment needs, ensuring that we're responsibly planning for the city's long-term growth and development. During my time on council, I've built strong relationships across both sides of the political aisle, enabling me to gain broad-based support for Ramsey's future. These relationships are crucial as we advocate for critical projects such as the new bridge and other initiatives that will enhance the quality of life for all of our residents.
Thank you. Mr. Heineman, what do you believe is the greatest need of the residents of Ramsey, and how would you go about advocating for this need?
Thank you. Yeah, there's quite a few needs at Ramsey, and I'm going to start with the tax base. But before I do, I think the current mayor is right that experience does matter, but what you do when you're in that position and the effort you put in also matters as well. When I was in for 2 years, I wrote many resolutions myself, sat home at night on my computer writing a resolution. One of those was the road funding plan. And we were in a situation where the roads were underfunded and we had a franchise fee that was a hidden tax on a lot of residents. And we abolished that fee because it was a hidden tax. And you know, when they give you a fee and don't raise your taxes, they tell you didn't raise your taxes, but money's still coming out of your bank account. So, you know, experience is important, but also doing something in the position of leadership is as well. So I've wrote multiple resolutions to include the waterfront, which is a new feature that's coming into Ramsey. That was an idea that I had and brought in a couple of individuals to include their current mayor. But you know, that all has to do with money. And like I said, probably the biggest thing is our ballooning budget. We did 14.8 million the year before I was on, 14.4 the first year that I was on, 14.7 the next. And the 2 years since I've been off the council, we spent 17 million and $20.8 million. That's a 29% increase. So as the bills continue to mount, we're gonna have to find a way to pay for them. However, with a lot of our taxes coming from property valuations, as those property valuations fall, we're gonna either figure out how to come up with some more money or how to save money by not spending. So I think our biggest issue coming up ahead that Ramsey residents need to be asking their elected officials about is, what are your plans for taxes? How are you gonna drive down the cost? And what innovative ideas are you going to have as an elected official to help the city grow in a very strategic and responsible manner?
Thank you. Moving on to question 3. We'll begin with Mr. Heineman. Transportation is a concern for many Ramsey residents. If elected, what would be your priorities when it comes to transportation infrastructure improvements for this area?
Thank you. Yeah, just kind of go back into it. We have a road bubble for sure that popped a little while ago, and part of that was necessitated the new road funding that I chief authored, where we actually took away the franchise fee, which was $7 on your gas, $7 on your electric. We removed that and we put a 15% increase on the levy, but it's dedicated. So it equated to the same amount, about $168 a year. And what it did is it set up a long-term fixed budgetary vessel to take care of the roads. So you got to understand that in the city of Ramsey, at least in 2021, it was about $1 million a mile. And we were sitting at 178 miles of road. So as we continue to look at the road funding, we have to continue to tie that to growth. So that way, as the city grows, the burden of the taxpayer doesn't continue to increase. Also, metro mobility was brought up. Metro mobility is very important. We have a lot of residents in Ramsey that could use it, and currently that's not a function that a lot of us can use. We pay into Anoka County, and yet that's not a feature that a lot of residents can have access to. So I think we need to be very aggressive as a city council to pursue that. We're already paying for it, and we have residents that need it. So I think prioritizing metro mobility is very important as well.
Thank you. Mr. Kuzma, transportation is a concern for many Ramsey residents. If elected, what would be your priorities when it comes to transportation infrastructure improvements for this area?
Well, we have a well-established road maintenance plan in place, at least for the next 5 years, which is flexible, it's adaptive based on our annual survey of our city's transportation system. However, I believe the most pressing issue we need to address is the congestion caused by the traffic coming from Champlain crossing the Anoka Bridge, especially for those wanting to access Highway 10. That's what my top priority is, to build a collaborative coalition to advocate for a new bridge connecting Ramsey to Dayton over the Mississippi River. This bridge will significantly reduce congestion and create a vital connection for our region. With the relationships that I've cultivated with the state and the local officials, MnDOT and the Met Council, I'm confident that I'm best positioned to lead the effort and get the conversation started. Together, we can be planning for a much-needed project, work toward a solution that benefits the entire community.
Thank you. Question 4, and we'll begin with Mr. Kuzma. What is your vision for the city's development over the next 5 years?
Well, my city's development goals for the next 5 years should be shaped by a balanced approach that considers economic growth, environmental sustainability, and community needs. The process should begin with the comprehensive input from residents, businesses, and local stakeholders to ensure that future development reflects the desires and the values of our community. Public hearings, surveys, advisory committees can provide critical insights. Long-term goals should also include fostering a business-friendly environment to attract new industries while supporting existing local businesses. And lastly, it's crucial to ensure the development is inclusive with affordable housing options and resources to support diverse populations, maintaining the city's character and accessibility for all residents.
Thank you. Mr. Heineman, what is your vision for the city's development over the next 5 years?
Well, we're strategically placed, and we're in a strategic time right now where we have Highway 10 finishing construction, and that's going to bring a lot of vehicles. It's going to create a thoroughfare here through Ramsey, and it's going to really set us up for a boom, an economic boom. But what we need to do is we need to be proactive in going out and to grab those businesses that we want here, and we need to tie that in with a robust youth sports program. Currently, if you look at our program, we have Elmcrest Park, which is really great. We have Central Park. But we have a lot of young families that are here, and I feel like we can make a lot of strides when it comes to creating an environment where people can come and play, people can come and eat, and recreational opportunities are available for everybody. So I think as we do that, we need to be, like I said, proactive. I had a resident on a Facebook page reach out, and they said, how do we get a business in Ramsey? And as somebody who's active, looking to residents to talk to, and being available for residents with questions, I reached out to that resident, sent them some information about our city and some of the individuals that handle that. And about a week later, I got a call back from one of our city employees saying that he actually reached out and was able to talk to that resident, and they're working on bringing a restaurant to Ramsey. So I think, we have to have a leadership that is advocating for Ramsey at all hours, that is willing to take phone calls, willing to meet with residents, and willing to meet with future businesses. And somebody that has their ear to the ground when it comes to young families and knows exactly what they're looking for. And I think as your next mayor, that's something that I'll be very equipped to do. We just need to go out there and get it. I mean, Ramsey, we can't sit back and we can't let good things come to us. We need to be proactive in our approach, and that's something that I can promise residents.
Thank you. We will now move to audience questions. Each candidate will have 1 minute to respond. The first question is as follows. On September 5th, 2024, you all participated in a forum run by the League of Women Voters. How do you feel about spending the taxpayers' money to do this forum again just because a few people in the city want to be able to edit the answers they don't like? We'll begin with Mr. Heineman.
Well, taxpayer dollars should be spent wisely, first and foremost. So I think that's an important question. And questioning government and how they spend money is important. But also transparency in your elected officials is also very important. So when we have an avenue to reach out to residents and to provide substantive answers to questions that they have, I don't think that's a bad thing. We spend a lot of money on a lot of programs, and one that leads to transparency for elected officials, I can't see that as a negative. So I think when you're looking at how do you spend taxpayer dollars, you weigh the cost versus the benefit, and in the sense of viewers, regardless of how many there are, being able to hear what their elected representatives have to think, I think is very important. I would actually challenge the residents to get the word out, to let people know that there are these forums. And instead of sitting back and talking about how few people watch it, let's all take a step up and let's all get better at inviting people to watch these important meetings.
Thank you. I'll repeat the question. On September 5th, 2024, you all participated in a forum run by the League of Women Voters. How do you feel about spending the taxpayers' money to do this forum again, just because a few people in the city want to be able to edit the answers they don't like? Mr. Kuzma.
Well, first of all, every time I have an opportunity to have a discussion with my opponent, I'm all for that, all right? We have different opinions, and in fact, I wish we had more time to be able to really have a stronger debate about some of the answers. In terms of this particular forum, I don't understand the reason why it was pushed so hard to put together so fast, because I feel that if someone was going to want to edit our answers, to me that's unethical, and I don't support that part of it at all. I think the answers that we give are for what we believe and shouldn't be touched. So in my mind, I think that is something that we didn't really need to do because we'd already done this once. However, the other part of it is that there was no budget for this. Somehow we magically came up with money, and I think that was just the wrong way to spend it.
Okay, thank you. The next audience question is as follows. In financial terms only, please describe why you believe that the tax levy or franchise fee is a better road funding source. And we'll begin with Mr. Kuzma.
Well, initially I had voted for the franchise fee because our roads needed repairs, and we explored many options. The fee was actually set at $8 per month for both the gas and electric, totaling $16 a month or $168 a year. It was a successful tool that was used by our nearby communities for road maintenance, and it was collected by the utility companies to be used for road repairs, and it had a 5-year sunset. I'm concerned that shifting the levy to the taxpayers that are now paying far more than the $168 cap, especially given the rising medium home prices, which could have been avoided under the original plan. The new majority council, including my opponent, campaigned on canceling the franchise fee, and after election, they agreed to review the benefits, but instead rushed to eliminate the program without fully evaluating its impact. As a result, I believe it's cost the taxpayers more.
Thank you. I'll repeat the question. Mr. Heineman, in financial terms only, please describe why you believe the tax levy or franchise fee is a better road funding source.
Well, I'll answer that real quick. I would say at any time, if you want to continue this conversation, we can definitely have another debate. We have parks, we have the city hall, we have coffee shops. So anytime you'd like to talk, we can talk in front of the residents. I think that's important. I don't know if you'll have answers to the questions before they're asked, like you just read there. So it might be a little different, but the question needs to be answered all the same. The franchise fee was a hidden fee that was equivalent to a tax that you couldn't write off on your property tax. And as I said before, when you give somebody a fee, the city can say, we've raised your taxes, not at all when it comes to the roads, not at all this year. But it is a 15% fee, it was $168. So putting the funding for the roads on the general levy, just like we're supposed to, we have a government, and the government is established to do certain things like provide for infrastructure. So we need to be transparent about how much it's costing residents, and we need to do it in a way that's transparent.
Thank you. Our third and final audience question is as follows. What are your thoughts on the bigger the government, the smaller the individual? And we'll begin with Mr. Heineman.
Thank you. We've had a lot of constitutional lessons up here from the last two debates or forums, but I'll add to it. The Bill of Rights was created to limit Bill of Rights gave rights to the individuals that the federal government could not infringe upon. Okay, so there's the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, right? We have all these different rights, and the federal government has propensity to continue to move forward and take those rights away. Anything that's in the first 10 amendments are inalienable to us as citizens. The Amendment 11 and on, those put restrictions on the citizens, but the first 10 tell the government, back off, you cannot infringe on these rights. Government has a propensity to continue to grow, to continue to take those rights away from the residents, and when that happens at all levels of government, it is the obligation of individuals serving their residents to step up and to fight back. And we've seen that during COVID lockdowns, we've seen that during many other instances. Time's up, but I think it's important that the citizens go ahead and take those rights back.
Thank you. Mr. Kuzma, what are your thoughts on the bigger the government, the smaller the individual?
Well, first of all, I want to just say that as mayor, my feeling is that just to bring it down to the city level, my plan to participate in our government is to do what's good for our community. And, I'm a practical person. I'm going to look at the pros and the cons. Our city staff works up the case, and then we have to decide what's good for our community. And really when it gets down to it, if it's good for our community, the whole community, that's how the side I'm going to fall on. And whether it's a right or wrong decision, I know that for me, I feel I've made good decisions in the 12 years that I've been on council, and I continue to do that for you.
Thank you. We will now go to 1-minute closing statements from each candidate, and we'll begin with Mr. Kuzma.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Serving the residents of the Ramsey as mayor and councilman for the past 12 years has been a tremendous honor. Throughout this time, I've focused on addressing the needs of our growing community and ensuring that Ramsey remains a great place to live, work, and raise a family. One of the most important projects I'm committed to is building a coalition to get the new bridge constructed between Ramsey and the Dayton over the Mississippi River. This connection will be a vital piece of infrastructure, enhancing our accessibility, supporting future growth. With the relationships I've built at the state and local levels, I'm confident I can lead this initiative and secure the necessary support to move it forward. My experience, proven leadership, and the ability to work across political lines have always been focused on delivering results for our city. I'll continue to advocate for projects and policies that strengthen our community and improve the quality of life for all of our residents. Ramsey's future holds great promise, and with your support, we can continue to build on the progress we've made together, and I ask for your vote to continue serving as your mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Heidemann, you have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Thank you. Well, thanks everybody for being here. You've taken time out of your day to come and to listen to the candidates, and I definitely appreciate that. Going back, service is very important. As your next mayor, I will continue to work for you. In 2 short years on the city council, I accomplished a lot for the residents, and I took every phone call, I responded to every email, and I will continue to do that. And there are some core issues that we as a city need to address. We need more restaurants, we need more retail, we need to check on our spending. We need to continue to support our law enforcement, who has done an amazing job. We need to continue to fund our roads and make sure that is a top priority. And we need to start thinking outside the box in ways that we can be a hub for the community so that people come to Ramsey to spend money and people come to Ramsey to spend their time and to enjoy our park system. So I ask for your vote as somebody who's going to take the time and sit down and is going to go over what we need, and it's going to find the most effective way to achieve that. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our forum. I would like to thank our candidates and CJ Luck, our equipment operator, for making tonight's event possible. Please remember to vote on or before Tuesday, November 5th. Thank you. Thank you.